What's up, everybody? I'm David Hain. Welcome to episode number 287 of the A2D From Addict to Disciple podcast. If you enjoy this podcast, please like, subscribe, follow, and share the link with a few of your friends and maybe even get together with them and discuss it. If you'd like to get our curriculum, you can get the paperback or ebook of From Ashes to Destiny on Amazon. Today's episode again is number 287, and it's entitled Forgiveness and Second Chances. I want to give a big welcome to my friends in recovery from the US, South Africa, and Australia for their participation in this group. As before, I'll be keeping them anonymous, but I'll be saying their answers as if we're having a live group meeting. So guys, it's been a while as I've been in South Africa for over 6 weeks, and it's time for a new group episode. The listeners have been asking for it. So here's something I heard in South Africa that I'd love your feedback on. And it's this quote: "Happy people have learned to forgive and to give second chances." Ben, you ready to start us off? Hey, bro. Thankful for all the work you're doing in South Africa. What awesome work. Keep it up. And to the topic that happy people have learned to forgive and give second chances, it makes a lot of sense to me. But I would like to hear how people define the word happy or the state of being happy personally. I think that lands differently for different people. For me, personally, happy comes from not really even remembering the last time I stuck a needle in my arm. When I sit in the backyard with a cup of coffee, listening to the wind blowing through the trees and the birds singing and all that jazz, it blesses me in a deeper way than I think it did before my addiction, definitely during my addiction, and now just has a compounding progressive effect when I'm intentional about comparing where I'm at with where I used to be. For me, that brings happiness. I find happiness also when I hug my wife in the kitchen while we're cooking dinner together. Happiness comes from taking walks with her and our dog and our son. Some might just find it in a bite of a Butterfinger or Snickers candy bar, you know? Anyway, I definitely think that forgiveness and second chances come a lot easier when you're dishing them out from a place of happiness, which for me would equate to gratitude. I'm most happy when I'm choosing to be grateful. I find it real hard to withhold forgiveness or second chances when I'm caught up in an attitude of gratitude. That's where I want to stay. And recent events in my life, especially in the church world, have attacked that area quite intently, which makes me believe all the more that there's an enemy against our soul, and he wants to destroy happiness, forgiveness, second chances, and any hope of a life filled with gratitude. He would like us to be bitter, ungrateful, and cynical when it comes to everything and everyone. Reminds me of Jesus saying to guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it flows all the issues of life. You find out what's going on in a person's heart when you listen to what they talk about, I guess. So true, Ben, and I thank you for sharing not only your idea of just having that attitude of gratitude and having things flow out of there, but also the attacks going on in your life. And I just appreciate your wisdom and your honesty, Ben. Thanks a lot. Charlie, what do you think about this topic? Well, for me, David, I think it's unforgiveness leads to bitterness and resentment. These two things are red flags for someone in recovery. I believe these things get in the way of our relationship with the Lord. They can also become an idol and take over our thoughts and actions, leading to anger and sin. To forgive is to be forgiven, which gives us peace and comfort. We all make mistakes and deserve second and third chances. There is something I need help with. Forgiveness of some things has been hard for me lately, and it's affecting my days and what I'm doing with them. I pray God can forgive me for my mistakes, and I thank Him that my offenders are already forgiven, so that I may move on. So true, Charlie. I appreciate that. Looking for forgiveness for yourself and forgiving yourself, but also praying for those that may have offended you. So again, just as Ben was saying, he's experiencing some issues with things going on. I see you are too, so this might be a timely topic for this group. Eddie, what do you think? Yeah, David, this comment is very true. Forgiving and giving second chances can make people feel lighter, improve friendships, and bring happiness. But I find holding on to anger causes stress, frustration, and sadness. So I work on letting go because that helps me and other people move forward. But forgiveness and forgiving does not always mean fixing the relationship. It's important to be careful, I've found, before trusting again, especially if someone has hurt you many times. Real happiness comes from being kind, but also making sure you don't get hurt again. So true, Eddie, and that's something I've heard it said several times, that we are to be kind, but that doesn't mean we have to be nice and timid and be walked over, because that would lead to being hurt again. Dante, what do you think about this topic? Yeah, David, I found that sometimes in order to forgive, I have to pursue someone and find out the reasons as to why something happened. Maybe we work together, or it's a family member or simply a close friend, and they've wronged me, but I wish to retain the relationship, so understanding needs to be uncovered. However, there are times when I think grace just needs to be given to someone and to forgive them. It's sometimes hard to know when to push for more questions to uncover more, or whether an issue should just be let go. I think if someone wronged me and I had to forgive them, I would hope, if it's the type of person that I want to be with or be around or have a relationship with, that they would see my forgiving and pure conduct towards them, and then they would come to me to hopefully work on rekindling a relationship by admitting faults and talking through those things. I think at the end, when we're trying to work on forgiveness, the goal is not are either of us right or wrong. The goal is to be heard and understood, and then decide to have a willingness to move forward no matter the differences. So true, Dante, and I think that's a good thought for all of us to keep in mind, that when we have friends and family members, that things do come between us. But as we work on forgiveness, the goal is that we both listen, we both feel heard, we both feel understood, and then we choose our friendship, our family, our relationship, and say we're going to move forward even though we may disagree on this topic or another. Okay, Harry, what do you think? David, if I can, I'd like to answer this from two perspectives based on my life experiences. My first approach will be from my happy family and friends. You see, a lot of my family and friends who seem to have it all together and show their happiness to others still have not forgiven me of my addiction 11 years ago. Once I got clean and started going back to those who I had hurt, or I lost their trust, to ask for forgiveness and make amends, well, a lot of them vowed never to forgive me or give me a second chance. Being 11 years clean now, I sometimes run into some of these people in the malls or at social or family gatherings, and they still have the same stance against me, even though I am a new person with a new lifestyle. They still avoid me like the plague. But from what I gathered about these individuals, it seems like they're successful and happy, but not forgiving at all. My second approach will be based on myself. I forgive and welcome to give second chances over and over, as I know what it's like to be an addict and also continuously relapse. The love of my late pastor was key to showing me forgiveness to others, as he always stood by me no matter how much I angered him. I am happy, but I also get upset and disappointed with people, and then I remember that I've been forgiven, so I need to do the same. So true, Harry. I think it's important for us to always remember that we have been forgiven, and that's our model, to be able to forgive others even if we feel anger or disappointment. Freddie, you ready to close this out today? Sure, David. I think for me, the power of forgiveness can never be underestimated. And I'll start by saying happy would definitely not describe me early in my recovery. I was a ticked off victim. Spite and fear kept me sober early in recovery, but forgiveness is truly what brought me peace. You got that? Spite and fear kept me sober early in recovery, but forgiveness is truly what brought me peace. You see, I've learned that your past is a lesson and not a life sentence. So I had to learn how to forgive myself and focus on the future. And that meant stop blaming others for my problems and clean up the wreckage of my own past. The more anger I held in my heart towards the past, the less capable I was of loving the present. And I'd like to share some lyrics from the song Happy People by Little Big Town. It says, happy people don't cheat, happy people don't lie. They don't judge or hold a grudge, don't criticize. Happy people don't hate, happy people don't steal, 'cause all the hurt sure ain't worth all the guilt they feel. And I want to be one of the happy people. And by the way, just on the 28th of March this year, I celebrated my 10-year anniversary of recovery, and I can tell you that happiness has replaced my resentments. Recovery's changed the trajectory of my life. The positive ripple effects have also touched my family and loved ones. Wow. Thanks so much, guys. Awesome to have you on the episode again, and I just love when we do the group sessions, so look forward to a few more coming up. I want to thank the listeners for tuning in today and listening to this episode of the A2D From Addict to Disciple podcast. And I want to encourage you to reach out and join a group. You can message me in the link in this podcast or by email at davidfroma2d@gmail.com, or go to my website, www.froma2d.org, and click on the contact page. Keep listening to future podcast episodes, and as always, stay safe and stay resilient.